PanchayatiRaj in India signifies the system of rural local self-government. It has been established in all the states of India by the Act of State Legislations to build democracy at the grassroots level. It is entrusted with rural development. It was constitutionalized through the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. Evolution of Panchayati Raj. Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. In January 1957, the Government of India appointed a committee to examine the working of the Community Development Programme 1952 and the National Extension Service 1953 and to suggest measures for their better working. The chairman of the committee was Balwant Rai ji. The committee submitted its report in November 1957 and recommended the establishment of the scheme of democratic decentralization, which ultimately came to be known as Panchayati Raj. The specific recommendations made by it are establishment of three-tier Panchayati Raj system, Gram Panchayat at the village level, Panchayati Samiti at the block level and the Jila Parishad at the district level. These tiers should be organically linked through a device of indirect elections. The village panchayat should be constituted with directly elected representatives, whereas the Panchayati Samiti and Jila Parishad should be constituted with indirectly elected members. All the planning of development activities should be entrusted to these bodies. The Panchayati Samiti should be the executive body, while the Jila Parishad should be the advisory, coordinating and supervisory body. The district collector should be the chairman of the Jila Parishad. There should be a genuine transfer of power and responsibility to these democratic bodies. Adequate resources should be transferred to these bodies to establish them to discharge their functions and fulfill their responsibilities. A system should be evolved to effect further devolution of authority in future. These recommendations of the committee were accepted by the National Development Council in 1958, that is January 1958. The Council did not insist of a single rigid pattern and left it to the states to evolve their own pattern suitable to local conditions. But the basic principles are broad fundamentals should be identical throughout the country. Rajasthan was the first state to establish Panchayati Raj. The scheme was inaugurated by the Prime Minister on October 2, 1959 in Nagaur district. Rajasthan was followed by Andhra Pradesh, which also adopted the system in 1959. Thereafter, most of the states adopted the system. Though most of the states created Panchayati Raj institution by mid-1960s, where there were differences from one state to another with regard to the number of tiers, relative position of Samiti and Parishad, their tenure, composition, functions, finances and so on. For example, Rajasthan adopted the three-tier system while Tamil Nadu adopted the two-tier system. West Bengal, on the other hand, adopted the four-tier system. Further, in the Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Panchayati Samiti was powerful as block was the unit of planning and development, while in Maharashtra, Gujarat pattern, Jila Parishad was powerful as the district was the unit of planning and development. Some states also established Nyay Panchayats, that is, judicial panchayats to try petty civil and criminal cases. Study teams and committee. Since 1960, many study teams, committees and working groups have been appointed to examine the various aspects of functioning of Panchayati Raj system. They are mentioned below in the table 38.1. 1960 Committee on Rationalization of Panchayati Statistics via RAW. 1961 Working Group of Panchayats and Cooperatives, Chairman S.T. Misra. Study Team on Panchayati Raj Administration V. Ishwaran. Study Team on Nyay Panchayats G.R. Rajgopal. Study Team on Position of Gram Panchayat in Panchayati Raj Movement R.R. Divakar. Study Group of Budgeting and Accounting Procedure of Panchayati Raj Institutions M. Ramakrishnaya. Study Team on Panchayati Raj Financials K. Santhanam. Committee on Panchayati Raj Elections K. Santhanam. Study Team on the Audit Accounts of Panchayati Raj Bodies R. K. Khanna. Committee on PanchayatiRaj Training Centers, G. Ramachandran. Study team on involvement of Community Development Agency and PanchayatiRaj institutions in the implementation of basic land reform measures, V. Ramanathan. Working group of formulation of 5th 5-year plan on community development and PanchayatiRaj, N. Ramakrishnaya. Committee on Community Development and PanchayatiRaj, Srimati Daya Chaube. Now, Ashok Mehta Committee. In December 1977, the Janata government appointed a committee on Panchayati-Raj institutions under the chairmanship of Ashok Mehta. It submitted its reports in August 1978 and made 132 recommendations to revise and strengthen the declining Panchayati-Raj system in the country. Its main recommendations were: the first one is the three-tier system of Panchayati Raj should be replaced by the two-tier system, that is Jila Parishad at the district level and below it the Mandal Panchayat consisting of a group of villages with a total population of 15,000 to 20,000. A district should be the first point for decentralization under the popular supervision below the state level. Jila Parishad should be the executive body and made responsible for planning at the district level. There should be an official participation of political parties at all levels of panchayat elections. The Panchayat Raj institutions should have compulsory power of taxation to mobilize their own financial resources. There should be a regular social audit by a district level agency and by committee of legislation to check whether the funds allotted for the vulnerable social and economic group are actually spent on them. The state government should not supersede the Panchayati Raj institution. In case of an imperative separation, election should be held in within 6 months from the date of supersession. The Nyaya Panchayat should be kept as separate bodies from that of development panchayat. They should be presided over by a qualified judges. The Chief Electoral Officer of the state, in consultation with the Chief Election Commissioner, should organize and conduct the Panchayati Raj institutions. Development functions should be transferred to the Jila Parishad and all development staff should work under its control and supervision. The voluntary agencies should play an important role in mobilizing the support of people for Panchayati Raj. A minister for Panchayati Raj should be appointed in the State Council of Ministers to look after the affairs of the Panchayati Raj institution. Seats for SC/ST should be reserved on the basis of their population. A constitutional recognition should be accorded to the Panchayati Raj institution. This should give them the requisite status, sanctity and stature and an assurance of continuous functioning. Due to the collapse of the Janata government before the completion of its term, no action should be taken on the recommendation of the Ashok Mehta Committee at the central level. However, the three states of Karnataka, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh took steps to revitalize the Panchayati Raj, keeping in view some of the recommendations of the Ashok Mehta Committee. GVK Rao Committee. The committee to review the existing administrative arrangements for rural development and poverty alleviation programs under the chairmanship of GVK Rao was appointed by the erstwhile Planning Commission in 1985. The committee came to conclusion that the development was gradually bureaucratized and diverse from the Panchayati Raj. This phenomena of bureaucratization of development administration as against the democratization weakened the Panchayati Raj institution, resulting in what is aptly called a grass without roots. Hence, the committee made the following recommendations to strengthen and revitalize the Panchayati Raj system. The district level body, that is Jila Parishad, should be of pivotal importance in the scheme of democratic decentralization. It is stated that the district is the proper unit for planning and development and the Jila Parishad should become the principal body for management of all the development programs which can be handled at that level. The Panchayati Raj institution at the district and lower levels should be assigned an important role with respect to planning, implementation, and monitoring of rural development programs. Some of the planning functions at the state level should be transferred to the district level planning units for effective decentralized district planning. A post of district development commissioner should be created. He should act as the chief executive officer of the Jila Parishad and should be in charge of all the development department of at the district level. Election to the Panchayati Raj institutions should be held regularly. It found that elections became overdue for one or more ties in 11 states. Thus, the committee, in its scheme of decentralized system of field administration, assigned a leading role to the Panchayati Raj in local planning and development. It is in this respect that the recommendation of the G.V.K. Rao Committee Report 1986 differed from those of the Dantwala Committee Report on Block Level Planning 1978 and Hanumant Rao Committee Report on District Planning 1984. Both the committees have suggested that the basic decentralized planning functions should be done at the district level. The Hanumant Rao Committee advocated separate district planning bodies under either the district collector or a minister. In both the models, the collector should play a significant role in the decentralized planning through the committee. State that Panchayati Raj institution would also be associated with proper decentralized planning. The committee recommendation that the collector should be the coordinator at the district level of all the development and planning activities. Thus, the Hanumant Rao Committee differed in this respect from those of Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, the first Administrative Reform Commission of India, the Ashok Mehta Committee, and finally G.V.K. Rao Committee, which recommended reduction in the development role of the district collector and which assigned a major role in the Panchayati Raj in development administration. Now, L.M. Singhvi Committee. In 1986, Rajiv Gandhi government appointed a committee to prepare a concept paper on revitalization of Panchayati Raj institution for democracy and development under the chairmanship of L.M. Singhvi. It made the following recommendations. The Panchayati Raj institution should be constitutionally recognized, protected and preserved. For this purpose, a new chapter should be added in the Constitution of India. This will make their identity and integrity reasonably and substantially inviolated. It also suggested constitutional provisions to ensure regular, free and fair election to the Panchayati Raj bodies. Nyaya Panchayat should be established for a cluster of villages. The villages should be reorganized to make Gram Panchayat more viable. It also emphasizes the importance of the Gram Sabha and call it as the embodiment of direct democracy. The village panchayat should have more financial resources. The judicial tribunal should be established in each state to adjudicate controversies about election to the Panchayati Raj institutions, their dissolution and other matters related to their functioning. Thangon Committee. In 1988, a subcommittee of the Consultative Committee of Parliament was constituted under the chairmanship of P.K. Thangon to examine the political and administrative structure in the planning for the purpose of district planning. The committee suggested for the strengthening of the Panchayati Raj system. It made following recommendations. The Panchayati Raj body should be constitutionally reorganized. The three-tier system of Panchayati Raj with panchayats at the village, block and district levels. Jila Parishad should be the pivot of the Panchayati Raj system. It should act as the planning and development agency in the district. The Panchayati Raj body should have a fixed tenure of 5 years. The maximum period of supersession of a body should be 6 months. A planning and coordination committee should be set up at the state level under the chairmanship of Minister of for planning. The presidents of Jila Parishad should be its member. A detailed list of subjects of Panchayati Raj should be prepared and incorporated in the constitution. Reservation of seats in all the three tiers should be on the basis of population. There should also be reservation for women. A finance commission should be set up in each state. It would lay down the criteria and guidelines for the devolution of financials to the Panchayati Raj institutions. The district collector should be the chief executive officer of the Jila Parishad. Now, Gadgil Committee. The Committee on Policy and Programs was constituted in 1988 by the Congress Party under the chairmanship of V. N. Gadgil. This committee was asked to consider the question of how best Panchayati Raj institutions should be made effective. In this context, our committee made the following recommendations. Constitutional status should be bestowed on the Panchayati Raj institutions. A three-tier system of Panchayati Raj with panchayats at the village, block and district level. The term of Panchayati Raj institutions should be fixed at 5 years. The member of the panchayats at all the three levels should be directly elected. Reservation for SC, STs and women. The Panchayati Raj bodies should have the responsibilities of preparation and implementation of plans for socio-economic development. For this purpose, a list of subjects should be specified in the constitution. The Panchayat Raj bodies should be empowered to levy, collect and appropriate taxes and duties. Establishment of State Finance Commission for the allocation of finances to the Panchayat. Establishment of the State Election Commission for the conduction of elections to the panchayats. The above recommendation of the Gadgil Committee became the basis for drafting an amendment bill aimed at conferring the constitutional status and protection of the Panchayati Raj institution. The next constitutionalization. We will cover this in part 2. Okay, till then, study safe, like and subscribe.